Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and in today's tutorial we are going to be working on the second 2021 crochet along. Now of course this one is a little more complicated. It is a crochet doll and it's all one piece, so we start here. I shouldn't say it's all one piece, it's not exactly all one piece, but we start here, we work our way down to the neck, and then we stop, and then we separate for the arms. Uh-oh, fell over. I had it propped up on my pencil. But anyway, we separate for the arm, and then we have a little left over from separating it, and that's what we work into our body. So then we work the body down, and then we stop, and then we split that straight in half, and then we come down one leg. And then we attach and do the other leg. Then we attach and we do our little arms here. Super easy. I'm so excited about this one. Took me a while to come up with the design, but I'm happy with it. We're going to have a blast decorating this, adding hair, facial features, clothes, shoes, all kinds of stuff. So, let's talk about what you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need a Sorry about that, guys. I couldn't find my hook. You're going to need a 6mm crochet hook. You're going to need any color of flesh colored that you want of yarn. I used Aran, but you can use whatever color you want to use. Here's my second one. Okay, you are also going to need some Poly Fil. Now I got this from Walmart. Don't judge my bag, it's been through hell and back. I got mine from Walmart, but they have it on Amazon. Now I also did an introduction video to my dolls here, and if you haven't seen that yet, I'm going to put a link to it in the description box. That video has links in its description box for the safety eyes that we're going to use. And then I also show you guys another pair of safety eyes. So if you guys want to check that out too, and I'll put links to all that kind of stuff in the description box. The last thing you are going to need is a little bit of embroidery floss. Now I use black to bring these down here. I use the black embroidery floss to make eyebrows, and then I use red for woman's lips, and then I use like an off pink shade for men's lips. So whatever color you guys want to use. Got cat hair all over mine. For your facial features, get that. And I think that's it, guys. Get everything you guys need together, and let's get started. I am super excited about this. All right, to get started, we're going to get a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch to our first to form a ring. I'm going to get my fingers in there so I can hold that space open. Chain 1, and now we're going to work 6 single crochet into our circle. So 1, 2, I'm working over my tail. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. I get my stitch marker. I'm going to mark our first single. So there's our chain 1 and our first single. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now I'm going to pull that tail, close up our ring a little. All right, and that was the end of round 1. And now every round is going to end right before our stitch marker. And every round is going to start in our stitch marker, and the stitch with our stitch marker. I can't speak. Ugh. All right, so now for round 2, we're going to work 2 single crochet into each single all the way around. So we're going to be increasing, piece of black fluff, increasing in each single crochet. So we're going to go right into that first one, which is a little bit of a stretch. There. Nope, I just split it. I did it again. There. I don't know why that was so hard. I just grabbed my tail. Okay, now we're going to work 2 single into each single. So I'm going to go back and mark my first single. So that's the beginning of row 2. And now I'm just going to work 2 single all the way around. I don't know why that first one was so hard. I think I split it and I couldn't find where I should have went in. So now we should have 12 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is the end of round 2. And I'm going to go ahead and stop, and I'm going to weave in my end. I'm going to have to find me a smaller needle. This isn't too big. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got me a smaller needle here. I'm going to go ahead and weave my end in. Just working under the legs of the first single crochets we worked in the circle. Now I'm not going to completely cut this off. I'm going to leave about that much tail. Kind of doesn't matter because it's going to be hidden inside anyway, but I just want to clean it up a little bit. All right, now we're ready to move on to round 3. In round 3, we're going to single crochet into our first single, mark our first one, and now we increase into the second stitch. 1 and 2. Single into the next, increase into the next, single into the next, and increase into our next. Single, increase, single, increase, single, increase. Get out of there. And that is the end of round 3. We're in the stitch before our stitch marker. Remember, stitch marker is the beginning of every round. Give me some slack. Okay. So now we move on to round 4. Or, well, let me give you the stitch count. I think it's 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right. All right. So now we're moving on to round 4. And round 4, single crochet into our very first, mark it, single crochet into our next, and increase into the next, single crochet, single, increase. So that's what we're going to repeat. A single, increase, single, single, increase. So it's 2 single crochets, then we increase into the next, 2 single crochets, increase into the next. So go ahead and finish that around, and I will meet you guys at the end. Okay, so I'm coming to the end. I have one more stitch I need to work into, which should be an increase. And now we should have 24 single crochets. And that's the end of round 4. So moving on to round 5, we single crochet into our first, mark that, single crochet into the next, and into the next. So for round 3, we have 3 single crochets, and then we increase into the next. 3 singles, 1, 2, and 3, and now we increase into the next. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys finish that around. 3 singles, increase into the next. Okay, so repeat that around and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I'm coming around. I have one more to work into, and that's our increase. Oops, went right through that stitch marker. 1 and 2. All right, that is the end of round 3, and we should have 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, so we're moving on to round 6. And round 6, we single crochet into our very first, mark it, and single crochet into the next 3. So now we have 4 single crochets before we increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we increase into the next. Single crochet into the next 4, 2, 3, and 4, increase into the next. Single in the next 4, 2, 3, 4, and increase into the next. All right, so go ahead and repeat that around, and again, I'll meet you in the last stitch. Alrighty, coming to the end, 1 stitch left, and that happens to be my increase, and 2. And that is the end of round 6, and you should have 36 single crochet. So now we're going to move on to row 7, and row 7, we single crochet into our first, mark it, and now we're going to single crochet into the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we have 5 singles, our first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we increase into the next. Single crochet into the next 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, get in there, and 5, increase into the next, single into the next 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5, increase into the next. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that around, and I'll meet you at our last stitch. All right, come into my last stitch, which is an increase. 1 and 2. And that is the end of round 7. And we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. So we should have 42 single crochet. All right, round 8. We are going to single crochet into our first one, and then mark that. And now we're going to single crochet into the next 5. So now this round we have 6 single crochets and then an increase. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more is 6. And now we increase. Single crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we increase. So go ahead and repeat that around. We're starting to get what looks like a little bowl. Work your 6 single crochet, increase, 6 singles, increase. Work that around, and I'll meet you guys at the last stitch. Okay, coming around to my last, and of course it's an increase. Now it's not an increase because I'm wanting it to be an increase. It's an increase because working my 6 single increase, 6 single increase all the way around, I've worked my increase, 6 single crochet, and my last stitch every time is an increase. I thought about that while I was working on it. I thought I better say that it's not the increase because that's what I choose for it to be. That's what it comes out to be. Okay, so that is the end of round 8, and we should have 48 single crochets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work round 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, just single crocheting around. So what I'll do, let me get... All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a little piece of paper, and every time I finish a round, I'm just going to make a little tally mark. And I need to have 6 rounds. 6 rounds. 9 through 14. Let's put that over here. Okay? So all we're going to do is work 1 single crochet around. Don't forget, don't lose your first stitch. All right, there's 1, and I'm just going to single all the way around. And then when I get to the end of round 9, I'm just going to make a tally and move on to round 10. When I get to the end of round 10, make a tally, move on to 11, around, and so on and so forth. So I will come back and I'm going to meet you guys at the end of round 14. And I'm going to have 6 rows done. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back and I just finished round 14. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this is what it should look like. It's the little top of his head. All right, so now we're going to move on to round 15. And round 15 starts with a single in our first. Mark that. And now we're going to single crochet into the next 5. So that's 6 singles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now instead of increasing, we're going to decrease. So to single crochet decrease, we're just going to insert into the next and pull up a loop. Insert into the next and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. So what we did is just made 2 stitches 1. Okay, so we're going to single crochet into the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then single crochet decrease into the next. So we insert, pull up a loop, insert into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Okay, so we're going to single into the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to decrease. Oh, sorry. Go start that over because I meant to tell you what I was doing as I was doing it. So to single crochet decrease, we're going to insert into the next, pull up a loop, insert into the next single crochet and pull up a loop, and now just yarn over and pull through 3. So we made 2, 1. So go ahead and repeat that around. 6 single crochet, decrease. 6 single crochet, decrease. So repeat that around, and I will meet you at the end of this round. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm coming around. I just worked my 6 singles, and I have 2 single crochets left, and that's my decrease. Yarn over, pull through 3, and that is the end of round 15. And you should have 42 single crochet now. Okay, and now for round 16, we single crochet into our first. Mark that. And now we're going to single crochet into the next 4. So now we have 5 single crochets and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we decrease. Single crochet into the next 5. 3, 4, and 5, and now we decrease. Okay, so repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end again. All right, I'm coming around to the end. I've worked my 5 singles. I have 2 stitches left, so my last stitch is the decrease. And that is the end of round 16. And we should have 36 single crochets. Well, 36 single crochet and single crochet decrease. How about this? 36 stitches. We should have 36 stitches around. Okay, so now we're going to move on to round 17. And 17 starts just like normal with a single. And then we mark that so we don't lose our spot. All right, now we're going to single crochet into the next 3. So now we have 4 single crochets and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we decrease into the next 2. Single into the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Decrease into the next 2. Oops, I went right back into where I started. There. So go ahead and repeat that around, and we're starting to close up our little head. So go ahead and repeat that around, and I will meet you at the end. All right, I'm coming to the end. I've just worked my 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 left, and the last stitch is going to be our decrease. Get in there. Okay, that's the end of round 17, and we should have 30 stitches around, singles and decreases. Okay, now we move on to round 18, and 18 starts with a single, just like normal. Mark it so we don't forget it or lose it. And now we're going to single crochet into the next 2. 1 and 2. So now we have 3 single crochets and then our decrease. Single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then we decrease over the next 2. Okay, so repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end just like normal. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 18. I worked my 3 singles. I have 2 singles left, and that's going to be my decrease. So the last row, or the last stitch of row 18 is our decrease. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Now you should have 24 single crochet, well, you should have 24 stitches. How's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So great. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add our safety eyes. I need to get mine out. Now, I'm just going to add some black ones. I'm not going to use the colored ones. Okay. So I want to use the same ones I used on my prototype here. Those are roughly the same. I want to make sure that, well, because I noticed in the little pack I bought, sometimes the slots will have 2 sizes in it. So if you're not careful, you end up getting 2 different sizes when you don't mean to. Okay. I think I've got what I want. Now for your guys's, that is really, really hard to close. You guys can just, you know, play with the sizes you want. I wish I knew what size these were, but they're not marked. Like on the eyes, they're not marked, or on the package, they're not marked. All right, now if I look at my prototype here, I have round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to put the eyes in between rows 10 and 11, rounds 10 and 11. So I'm going to get my head here, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I'm going to take my eye, and I'm just going to put it in there. Right now, I'm not too concerned about spacing right now, or like where I'm specifically putting it. I just want to mark the row. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Perfect. Oh, I forgot to get the little backs. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this back on there. Now remember, don't do it too tight, because if you pop that back on there too tight, it's gonna squish the our fabric, which, you know, is just single crochets, right? But if we squish it on there too tight, we're gonna be able to see it through there. So there, it just popped onto one, and I'm gonna go one more, or try to. There, right there. That's all I want. So now it's not too tight, okay? And it's not going anywhere. And those things are a pain to try to get off. So kids, I'm gonna say kids shouldn't be able to, but for just an extra little safety precaution, I'm gonna add some Fabric Tac underneath there too. But I'm gonna do that later. All right, so we got one eyeball. Now I'm gonna go, I use my needle here. So I'm in here, right? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, there's 6 holes between my 2 eyeballs. So I am going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's where my next eyeball is going. So I'm going to take that out and put that right in. Okay? Get my back. Now I'm just going to pop that. Got it. There we go. There are our eyeballs. Look a little funny right now, but that's all right. So now I am going to go ahead. I'm going to take my Fabric Tac here, which my thing is about empty, so I got to get all of that to the bottom. Set that down for a minute. And now I am going to put some Fabric Tac between my material, my single crochets, and between the back of this, just to add a little more security. If I can get it in there, I may not be able to. And you can see it's starting to kind of goo out a little bit. Maybe I should try to go. I don't know. I may not be able to get it in there. I don't think I'm going to. There, just get that end, the tip of my glue in there. I'm just going to squeeze some in there. And this dries clear, this glue does. So that's a little added bonus. You're not going to be able to see your glue. I'm going to get my tip in there again on my other eye. I'm just going to force it in there and squeeze some in there. It's on my finger. There, I see it going. All right. And there. It is glued and safety backed on there, so it should never, ever, ever come out. Okay, now I'm gonna let that set. And now it only takes about 30 seconds to dry, but I like to, you know, be super secure. So I'm gonna let that set for about a minute or two. And now, while that is setting, what we're gonna do is we are gonna stuff our head a little bit. Get my Poly Fil out. I've had this bag of Poly Fil forever, so it's pretty rough looking. Plus, I've added, you know, pillow stuffing to it. I've added all kinds of stuff to it. The bag, I mean. All right, get a big old handful of it out. Let that keep drying. Stop messing with it or I'm going to mess it up. So we're going to let that glue dry for a little bit. And when we come back, we are going to stuff our head. These things are cute. I love making these little dolls. Alright, I'm just going to let this glue dry and I'll be right back. Okay, I've let my glue dry for about 2 to 3 minutes. And they are on there pretty secure. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to start stuffing our head. Now, we are going to use a lot more Poly Fil than what you think we are, because we don't want a floppy neck and we don't want a floppy head, but we also want our head to be, what's the word I want to say? Pliable? Is that it? Like what I'm trying to say, what is that? Like what I'm trying to say is that we can squish and shape it, right? Of course, we don't want that right now because we've got some things we need to get done first, but I am just stuffing and stuffing and stuffing. Okay. Now, the goal right now is to just get some stuffing in there, okay? We're not going to fully stuff it right now because we've still got it to work around here, right? And we don't want to be working into our Poly Fil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of tuck this out of the way for a minute. And don't worry if you guys, you know, if you think you need to add more, we're going to do that in a little bit. We're just getting it and the initial part started right now. Okay? The initial part. What I meant was the initial stuffing right now. I'm not ready yet. I am going to actually stuff and pull. Get in there and pull. Okay. So now I can still work into this right here and not get into my Poly Fil that much. I'm sure I will, but that's all right. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and we're going to go on to round 19. And 19, of course, starts just like any other with a single. And we mark that so we don't lose it. And now we single crochet into the next. And I missed it. Single into the next, and then we decrease over the next two. Okay, which the Poly Fil being inside there makes my crocheting a little louder. I apologize for that. All right, so now we just single crochet into the next two. 1 and 2. And then decrease over the next 2. And if you guys aren't comfortable with having that Poly Fil in there and single crocheting around it, just pull it out. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. We're still gonna have plenty of time to be able to stuff it as we go. So go ahead and for round 19, repeat that. Just 2 singles and a decrease. 2 singles and decrease all the way around, and I'll meet you guys at the end. Alrighty, coming back around, I have 2 stitches left, and that's my decrease. And there we go. That is the end of round 19, and we should have 18 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. All right, so now we are going to move on to round 20. In round 20, we are going to work 1 single and then a decrease. 1 single and then a decrease. So for our first one is 1 single. Mark that, and then we decrease. One single, and then we decrease. I'm getting into a little bit of that polyfill. That's okay though. So repeat that around. Squish that out of the way. And I'll meet you guys at the beginning. Okay, I'm coming back around. I have 2 stitches left. That is my decrease. And that is the end of round 20. Now we should have 12 stitches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last one we worked is 12. Perfect. All right. So now what we are going to do, let me get me a Post-it real quick. We are going to work 21 through 24. So that's 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 4 rounds of just single crochets, okay? Ouch, I kicked my chair. So it's just 1 single crochet all the way around for 4 rounds, okay? So 12 stitches when we're done. So here's 1. Mark that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, went right in my stitch marker. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's round 21. So now we go on to round 22. Single crochet into our first. Mark it so we don't lose it. And keep going. So go ahead and finish to round 24, and I'll meet you guys at the end. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of round 24, or well, I already finished it. And this is what it should be looking like. We have a little neck now. Okay, so I'm gonna move this, and we are gonna go on to round 25. And round 25, we are going to single crochet into our first, mark it, there's a kitty fight behind me, and now we're going to increase into the next. So our increase is 2 singles into the next, 1 single into the next, increase into the next, 1 single, increase into the next, One single into the next. Are you kidding me? Ugh. Increase into the next. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I just increased. Now we single into the next. Increase into the next. Single into the next. And into our last one, we work our increase. All right, that's the end of round 25, and we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 single crochets. All right, round 26. Pretty similar. Instead of 1 single crochet and then increase, we're going to work 2 single crochets and then increase. So we single into our first, mark it so we don't lose it. Single and crochet into the next. And then we increase into the next. Single into the next 2. Increase into the next. Single into the next 2, 1 and 2, increase into the next. So our neck is starting to get a little bit bigger, and what we're doing is we're working down our neck and into our shoulder. Where was I? Increase, single into this one, single into the next one, and then we increase into the next. Single, single, increase. Single, single, and the last stitch, last single crochet gets an increase. All right, so that's the end of round 26, and we should have 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, oh, excuse me, and 24. Okay. So now we move on to round 27, and 27 is 3 single crochets and then an increase. So we single crochet into our first, mark it so we don't lose it. So there's 1, 2, and 3, increase into the next. Single crochet into the next 3, 2, and 3, increase into the next 1 and 2. So go ahead and repeat that around, and I'll meet you guys at the last stitch. Alrighty, coming to the end of round 27. I've got 1 stitch left, and that's my increase. That's the end of round 27. Now we should have 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, Now we're going to move on to round 28, and round 28 is 4 single crochets and then the increase. So we single crochet into our first, mark it so we don't lose that. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we increase 1 and 2. Single crochet into the next 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and increase into the next. Repeat that around, and I will meet you guys at our last stitch. All right, I'm coming to the end of round 28. I have one more stitch, and that is my increase. 1 and 2. All right, now we should have 36 single crochets, and for round 29 we are going to work 1 single crochet to start, single crochet into the next 4, so that means we have 5 single crochets and then an increase, and I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we increase. So repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end. 5 singles, that's 3, 4, 5, and increase into the next. All right, repeat that around and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, coming to the end of round 29. I have one more stitch that gets my increase. And now you should have 42 single crochets. And for round 30, we're going to do the same thing, only 6 single crochets, and then we increase. So we single into our first, mark it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then increase into the next. So go ahead and repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end. 3, 4, be right back. All right, I'm coming to the end of round 30. I have one more single crochet to work into, and that's my increase. And now we should have 48 single crochet all the way around. And we are gonna stop for a minute, and we're gonna finish stuffing our head and our neck. So I'm just gonna take some more stuffing here, and I'm just gonna work it in there. Get it in there. We are going to be putting a lot of stuffing in here. All I'm doing is just filling it up and then shaping the head at the same time. Get in there. There. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a lot of stuffing. Just when you think it's too much stuffing, we're going to add more. This is what is going to prevent us from having a floppy neck, first of all. And it's also going to let us shape his head how we want, or her head, whichever. But you see how, do it on camera, the head back here has a nice round shape, but over here it kind of goes flat and then comes around. I'm going to fix that too. Work it around. Ah, getting tangled up. All right, now I'm going to kind of just try to keep the stuffing around the base of the head and into the neck. So what we're going to do now is we're going to separate our stitches. See how nice and firm that is? Don't worry about his neck yet, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to separate our stitches like this. And then we're going to work this part of our body, and then the part we leave open on the sides is going to be our arms. So you see how we're just going to pinch this right here, and then we're going to work in circles down. Well, no, we're not. Sorry. We're going to pinch that in half, and then we're going to start working in the round at the bottom, and that's what's going to start our body. And then what that's going to do is going to leave us two little holes right here on the side, and then we're going to work both of those down, and then that's our arms. All right, I think this is stuffed good for now. You can hear it if you thump it. Hear how solid it sounds. So what we're gonna stop stuffing now, because we're gonna have plenty of time to keep filling this up. After we've worked our body and stuff, we can get into those armholes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and if you notice, we have a little bit point here, a little bit of a point there, 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 and there. So we have one, two, three, four, five, six. We're going to bring these two together, and then these two together. Okay, so then that's going to leave us a little bit right here. So I'm going to get a few extra stitch markers. Just to help me mark off. Okay, I have to look at my notes to remember how many stitches I need for the body, and I come up, whenever I did this one, I came up with 20 stitches for the body. So I'm going to come to this first point, which is our increase, and I'm going to mark, how can I explain this to you? So with the doll head facing me, and I've got this little point right here, which is my increase, right? If I pull it apart, you can see the two stitches into that one. I want the first stitch, and then I'm going to turn them around, and I'm going to come to this one, and I want, let's see, the second stitch of the increase. Okay, so when I turn it around, it's the same one. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead and mark that actually. Mark that one, and I'm going to bring it straight across to this one. Okay, now I'm going to come to this one. Now this one, I want the last stitch in the increase and the first one on that one. So that gives me this one into get in there, that one. All right, so here is our body and here's our arms. So we have now the 2 stitches that our stitch marker is holding while we're working is going to be 1, right? So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't think that's right, because I need 20. How much do I have for my arm? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, we're gonna call that good. I don't know why I wrote that down, but it doesn't come out right. That's okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove our original stitch marker, all right? Oh, I know how I came up with that, because I have, yeah. All right, so we have our stitch right here, our last one that we worked. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that off. And then we have the one over here that's still marked, right? So I'm gonna pop that out, but I'm not gonna let it go. I'm gonna come straight into that. And work a stitch. And then I'm just gonna single crochet along here until I get to that next, oh, excuse me, next stitch marker. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and mark that as my first stitch. Doesn't matter which one you pick, just pick one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work into the one that is marked. I'm just going to go right in there with my stitch marker. Now I'm going to take it out. I'm only going to take the side I worked into. And now I'm going to pull it out, but I'm still going to hold on to where I am so I don't lose that stitch. And I'm going to work a single. Oh crap, I lost it. There. And now I'm going to single crochet around. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm focusing. Right here. And that is one complete round. All right, so now we have a round of our body. And we should have 20. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Got it. All right. Okay, so here's the thing. If you guys, because I understand that was probably pretty confusing for some of you. And let's say you have 22. Let's say you have 22 stitches right here. No big deal. All you're going to do is this next round, instead of just working in the normal single crochet around, single crochet, I'm going to go ahead and show you. Single crochet into your first, okay? And we're going to go ahead and mark it so we don't lose it. Now let's say you have 22, right? But you need 20. So you have 2 extra stitches, right? So all you're going to do is just decrease 2 times. So decrease and over the next 2, okay? Then single crochet just a couple. Let's say just do 3, okay? And then decrease again. Over the next 2. And then single crochet into each one until your stitch marker, or I mean the stitch right before your stitch marker. And then you should have 20. And you know, depending how many extra stitches you have that's past 20 is the number of times you need to decrease. And then let's say you have less than 20. No big deal, just increase. So let's say you have 18. So single crochet into a couple, increase, so that makes you up to 19. Single crochet into a couple, increase 1 more, and then that'll get you up to 20, and then just finish your row. I know that was kind of confusing, and even reading my notes and working with what I had, I I didn't think I was going to get 20, but I did. All right, so we're going to move on to round 31. And 31, all we are going to do is single crochet into each one around. So I've already worked my first, so that's 1, and now I'm just going to single crochet into each one. All the way around. Oop. Yeah, messing up on this, the cool thing about it is it's so easy to fix it. You know what I mean? Like, it's 1 stitch off or 2 stitches off, just decrease once, increase once or twice, however. And even if it is off, oh well, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, that is 1 single crochet all the way around for round 31. So we should still have 20 single crochets. Now 32, we are going to single crochet into our first stitch. Mark that so we don't lose it. And now we're going to increase into the next. So that's 2 singles into the next stitch. 1 single into the next, increase into the next. 1 single into the next, increase into the next. So repeat that around, and I'm going to meet you guys in our last stitch right before our stitch marker. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 32. I have 1 more stitch to work into, and that is my increase. Now we should have 30 single crochets. Okay, so now let me get a little post-it. We are going to work rounds 33 to 41, just single crochet into each. So that's, let's see, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. That's 9 rounds. Just single crocheting all the way around. So we're just going to single crochet around. There's the end of our round. Mark it down. Okay? So do that for 9 rounds and then come back here and we're going to work on our legs. He's looking cute. All right, get your 9 rounds down and come back here. Okay, that's 9 rounds of the belly done. So we're going to stop here. I'm going to pull out a long tail, not tail, but a long loop so I don't lose that stitch, I mean. And we're going to do a little more stuffing. Get my Poly Fil back out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger through the armhole right here, and I'm just going to squish more into the head because I was looking at it while I was working my 9 rounds, and I kind of didn't like the way it looked. So I'm going to stuff, excuse me, I'm going to stuff a little bit more in there. Go right through the armhole. All right, that looks a little bit better. Okay, now I'm gonna do the neck. I'm just gonna go through the armhole again. Just right there. And our test to see if it's gonna stay up is to hold it by the shoulders and kind of flop it. See how it fell back a little bit? I'm going to stuff it just a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start stuffing the body all the way to the neck. All the way in there. Shove some in the neck if you want or need. Piece of hair. Don't be afraid to get rough with it either. You know what I mean? If you need to shove it in there, shove it in there. All right. I'm going to call that good for now because I can always add more in a little bit. Now what we're going to do, make sure I get in there nice and good so you guys can see. So I'm going to hold her upside down, or him, whichever. Hold it upside down with its, its head facing me. And I'm going to make it just as level, as even as I can. And I'm going to go right from the middle of the eyes, come right up, and I'm going to come right up, and I'm going to pinch straight in half, as nice and even as I can. What I'm trying to do right now is keep it, its legs even with the eyes, so its face is straight. Does that make sense? So when I'm holding it like this, its face is straight at me and not off like that. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, we need to have it to where it's 15 and 15. Okay, so it's nice and even. I'm just gonna try it and see what I've got if I need to move. Oops, I came right out. Okay. That does not look even at all. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it over one more. Just testing it out. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to call that okay. I'm okay with that. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to leave this here, okay? And I'm going to take this stitch marker because we're no longer going to be working our round as that the beginning, right? We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have 4 back be our beginning, okay? So whenever we finished round 41, right? Yeah, round 41, this was our last stitch, right? Right here was our last stitch. Count back 1, 2, 3, 4. Into that 4th one, that's going to be the beginning round of our leg, okay? So what we're going to do now, this is going to be a little tougher to do on camera. So I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to adjust my camera. Okay, let's see if that's any better. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work around this leg. And I've already got 4 stitches, right? So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, move this, 12, 13, I'm going to go into this one that I have marked, is 14, and now I'm going to come straight across. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just get this out of the way. I'm going to come straight across, and there's 15. Now don't worry about the gap it's going to leave, okay? So that is round 1 that we just finished of our first leg. Now what we're going to do, uh-oh, about to dump all my stuff. We are going to work 15 rounds for our leg, okay? So basically it's going to be like working 42 through 57 rounds, 42 through 57. So we got to have 15 rounds. So we just did round 1. So, and I want you guys to go ahead and, you know, at the stitch before your stitch marker, do it on camera. The stitch before your stitch marker is the end of your round, so that we just finished round 1. And now we're going to start round 2. Or, well, you guys get what I'm saying. So go ahead and work your 15 rounds around and around and around. And it should go pretty quick because just a few stitches. And then come back here and we're going to finish off our first leg. Okay, guys, I'm back and I've done the 15 rounds for the leg. So we're going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to pull up a stitch, or pull up a big old loop so I don't lose that stitch. And we're going to do a little bit of stuffing of our leg. I think I might, yeah, I'm going to have to use the back of my crochet hook because My fingers, not that long. Now here's the thing with stuffing your leg. If you overstuff it, it's going to come out a little beefy looking, which, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. But the problem with that is it's a little hard to get both the legs to look the same whenever, you know, one's a little overstuffed, which I'm pretty sure I just did. That's all right. Dang it. Okay, just a little bit more on the bottom. Okay. That looks good. Maybe just a little bit more. Because what we're going to do now is close up the bottom, and then I can squish it out into the... You'll see what I mean. Never mind. Forget what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we got our 15 rounds done. Now what we are going to do is we're going to close up the bottom of the leg. So we are going to work 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So we're going to single into our first, mark it, single into our second, and then decrease. Single into the next, single into the next, and then decrease. And I'm working into a little bit of that Poly Fil, but that's all right. All right, single into the next, single into the next, and decrease. Single into the next, single into the next. I have one more stitch, so I can't work my decrease, so I'm just going to go ahead and single crochet into it. And that's the end of, we're going to call that round 58. And now, to start round 59, we are going to work a single crochet, and decrease. One single crochet and decrease. One single and decrease. One single, 2 stitches left, and uh-oh, I missed that. Decrease over the last 2. And to, let's see, that was round 59. And to work the last round, we're going to decrease and all the way around. So the first 2 stitches, a decrease. Go ahead and still mark our first. And then just decrease around. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. I've got 2 stitches and just decrease over the last 2. And now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and pull up a long loop. Not that long. I'd say that's probably about 6 inches. Snip. Take out our stitch marker. Pull that tight. Now I'm just going to kind of roll my leg a little bit like a piece of dough to get some of that Poly Fil down in there. I'm going to put this long tail on my needle. And now I'm just going to go in and out each of the top top of the decreases. So I came out, so I'm going to go in, come out, pull tight, and now I'm going to take it right through my leg, and I'm going to bring it out at one of the holes. Don't run it through your stitches, okay? Just go right straight into one of the holes. Grab it, pull it down a little bit. Now here's my favorite thing. If you tug on it or pull on it just a tad, snip, and it goes right back inside and you can't see it. Now I'm just going to kind of move everything around a little bit. And there is our first leg. Now, if you feel like you need to stuff it a little bit more, don't worry about it, because you can always, get your finger around in there and maneuver some stuffing around and add more stuffing. But you need to do that now, because we're going to go ahead and start our second leg, and once you get so far, you ain't going to be able to get in there. So if you want to add more, go ahead and do it now, which I think the bottom I should have added just a little bit more. So I'm just going to get in there, which it's not pretty. I'm manhandling it a little bit. Kind of fill that bottom of that leg a little bit. And now all I'm doing is I'm going in there and grabbing some polyfill and pulling it down from the body into the leg. Just to fill that up a little bit. That's a little bit better. I can get a little more out of there. Okay, I like that better. Feel how firm it sounds? Or you feel how firm it sounds? Hear how firm it sounds? That's what I want. I want it nice and full. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a little more polyfill to the body, since I pulled some of it into the leg, which I can always add more to that in just a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to start our second leg, our other leg. You only have two, right? We're going to get that started, and then I'm going to let you finish it off camera just like we did on this one. The only thing is, this one is a little bit of a pain in the butt to work. How can I explain it? Like, well, we're going to start anywhere. It doesn't matter. Oh, pardon me. I need a drink. Oh, excuse me. We're going to attach our yarn anywhere. It doesn't matter where, right? And then we're going to work around. The hard part is coming from here to here. Now, the first couple of rounds are going to be a little bit of a pain. We're going to have to move this leg and finagle around. But once we get one or two, well, not one or two, probably about four rounds around, then it's going to start getting easier, because we can start pulling the, the fabric on camera. Sorry. I don't know if I just described, I'll start over, because I don't know if I just did that on camera or not. So what I was saying was, we're going to attach anywhere. So we can just attach our yarn right here, right? And then we're going to single crochet around. And what I was saying was that right here, from here, on the first 2 or 3 or 4 rounds, is going to be a little bit of a pain trying to get between the leg and the gap, right? But once we get around there 3 or 4, 5 times, it gets a little bit easier, because we can take the material that we've created working the single crochets, and we can kind of pull it away a little bit and then just work it and work it and work it and work it. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to do, after we get attached, we're going to do the exact same thing with the other leg that we did with this one. Work our 15 rounds, work the 3 decrease rounds, pull up a long tail, and weave in and out, pull it through the leg, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to let you guys do that by yourselves. So to attach, I need to adjust my camera, because it's a little bit of a pain. I apologize for all the wiggling. It's a little bit of a pain to try to hold this and film on camera and keep the leg out of the camera. So I'm just going to go anywhere. Doesn't matter where. Go right in there. get my slip knot on, pull my tail so it comes down, and I'm just going to pull it through. I'm going to go ahead and chain one, which we shouldn't do any other time through this, and then I'm just going to go right back in there with a single, and I'm going to mark it just like the other rounds. Mark our first round, pull my tail a little tighter. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's where it kind of starts to get a little rough. 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm gonna move him and pull and all kinds of stuff to try to be able to get my stitches in there. What was that, 11? 12, 13. Now, 14 and 15 are on the other side because we've already worked into what's in the middle, right? And that one we've already worked into on the other leg. So we've got to come right across here. See, that was 13. Right there is 14. And 15. All right, now see that little gap we got, the little hole we got in our fancy bit area? Don't worry about that, okay? This long tail that we left, we're gonna get that, we're gonna pull that out to the side of our, well, no, squish it in there inside of our leg. What we're gonna do is we're gonna close that up, but later. Yeah, we do need the tail. What am I doing? Ugh. Just get it out of the way. Okay, so now all you're gonna do is work your, well, now we only have 14 more rounds because we just did one together. So I did one. So we're gonna work 14 more rounds, okay? So get your leg, well, 14 more rounds and then finish your leg just like we did this one. And once your leg is done, come back and we're gonna do our arms, and then we are gonna be done with our doll. And then we can add hair and clothes and all kinds of good stuff. So get your leg done and come back. Okay guys, I'm back. I know I said I was just going to let you finish this other leg off camera, but I've decided I'm going to go ahead and just come back with you guys. And we're going to stuff this leg together. So I've put a little bit in there, but I still need to add more to the body. And I'm just going straight through the leg. And I'm using the back of my crochet hook because I can't reach with my finger. And I'm just stuffing. Get my work out of there. And actually, all of the Poly Fil that I've been putting in there, only to like right there of the leg is stuffed. The rest of it's kind of in the body. Now I'm focusing more on the leg. that's nice. A little bit more. Okay, that's good. So now all you need to do is just close up this leg like we did this leg. So get that done and come back. Okay guys, so we're back and we've got our other leg closed. It's looking good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this tail, get it on our needle. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go from one side to the other, pull tight, and we're just going to close up that little hole in his fancy bit area. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it through, but I'm not going to pull it all the way. See the little loop it leaves right here? I'm going to take my needle right through there and now pull it tight. I'm going to do it one more time. So basically what we're doing is creating a little knot right there so it doesn't move. Then we're going to take our needle, put it into any hole, and then we're going to bring it out in a hole. Now remember, don't go through stitches, okay? Just into the little holes, right? And now what we're going to do, turn it this way so you guys can see. If I pull it tight and then snip, see how the end pops right back inside of him? And it's gone. Can't see it. Okay, so that part is done. Poly Fil gets everywhere. Okay, now we're going to start on our arms. Look at my notes here. All right, so it doesn't matter which one we start on, but we're just going to insert a hook anywhere. And we're going to get a slip knot. Make sure you leave a long tail. Put that on our hook. All right, now we're going to pull it through. Chain one and go right back in there with a single. And now we're going to mark with a stitch marker. The first stitch of our round. There's a cat fight behind me. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we've got our first single crochet. Now we're going to single crochet into the next two. 1 and 2. Okay, so we have 3 single crochets. And now we're going to decrease over the next 2. So remember, a decrease is we insert, pull up, insert into the next stitch, pull up, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 3. Single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Get that tail out of the way. And now we're going to decrease over the next 2, which is here and here. Now it's going to kind of get a little tricky on the under part of the arm, kind of like it was on our leg. But don't worry, we're going to get through it. You've made it this far and we're almost done, and look how cute it looks. Okay, so we've decreased. Oh geez. we decreased over the next 2, and now we're going to single crochet into the next 3. So we work into, I think that stitch we worked into, so we come straight across, get this close, we come straight across and go straight into this little one right here. Okay, so our last was a decrease, so we're going to come straight across and work 1, 2, and 3. We've got a little bit of a hole here we're going to take care of. Don't worry about that. Okay, so we have one more single crochet right there, and we're just going to single crochet into that. Oopsie daisy, get that out of there. Okay, so after looking at my notes, I realize I'm off a single crochet, and I see it. I completely missed it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I skipped the stitch I told you to go into. After I finished, I thought, what in the world? I'm supposed to have 2 left. I'm sorry about that, guys. So pull that back out, and the stitch right here, this little bitty one, I don't know why I skipped it, but we're going to single crochet into that one. 1, and then the next, there's 2, and there is 3. Okay, now we got it. Now we've got 2 stitches, 2 single crochets left. So we're going to go ahead and decrease over those 2. Okay, now we're cooking with fire. I'm sorry about that. After I finished it, I thought, what? That's not right. What did I do? Okay, so there. We've got that. Row 1 of our arm. Get back into my notes. Okay, so for row 2, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to single crochet into the first 3. 1, mark that so we don't lose it. 1, 2, and 3, and now we decrease over the next 2. Single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3, and decrease over the next 2. 1 and 2, and then we're just going to single into the last 2 stitches. Okay, so that is the end of row 2. We've got a little shoulder here where it starts to curve. Okay, so now what we're going to do, get me a Post-it. All right, so we're going to work round 3 through 7, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 rounds. That's a D. And all we're going to do is single crochet all the way around. So we just finished round 2. Oh, and we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We should have 10 single crochets. So we just finished round 2. So for round 3, we're going to single into our first, mark it, and just single crochet all the way around. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I miscounted when I started. That's okay. Okay, so that is round 3. So I mark that and I move on. So repeat that for 5 rounds and come back here when you're at when you just finished round 7, okay? And we're gonna go on from there. We're almost done. Okay, guys, I'm back. Just finished. I don't know what that is. Just finished round 7. We still have 10 single crochets in our arm. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stuff a little bit. So I got me some of my Poly Fil here. I'm just kind of pulling it apart. And I'm gonna try to like twist it a little bit just to shape it to the arm, if that makes sense. Stuff a little bit in there. I'm gonna have to use the back of my crochet hook. Oh, for Pete's sake, if I could speak, to get it in there because my finger's too fat. Looks good. Just kind of roll it in there. I have a hair in my Poly Fil. Cat hair. Okay, now I'm actually going to take the time to put some of my stuffing into his chest and neck, just because it's a little floppy there and I don't like it. And I'm going to end up here in a little bit, we're going to close up this arm and then we're not going to have an opportunity to put any more stuffing in him. Kind of wiggle this around. Okay, now you see how his, well, hold on just a second. See how his head is kind of floppy? I don't want that. So I'm going to take a little more stuffing. I'm going to get it in there. I'm going right like this into his neck. I'm just going and stuffing it in his neck. Don't be worried about being too rough or too easy with him. Or if yours is a girl. Whatever it is. Because we can always manipulate it. Here's my theory with, stuffing our dolls. We can always overstuff and manipulate it later. We don't want to understuff and then we can't manipulate it later because we can't add more once we're done, right? So it's that theory that I'd rather have too much than not enough. You know what I mean? Like, I can always move around when I've got too much. I can't go back and add it. And the reason I'm saying that is because I just noticed I have a spot in its leg right here. I'm just trying to squish some more down in there. Looking at my camera and its little head's all jerking around. It's kind of cute looking. I don't mean for it to do that, but anyway. Okay. That's better. All right. Head's not so floppy anymore. All right, we're going to move on with the arm. All right, so we just finished round 7. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work 8 to 12, just single crocheting around. Round 8 through 12. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 more rounds. And all we're going to do is just single crochet around. First couple of rounds you might have to work around your poly fill, but that's all right. Okay, so get 8 to 12 done and come back here and we're going to finish up the arm. Okay, I've just finished round 12. So now we're going to do a little more stuffing just to finish up this arm. Now this is similar to the leg. If we overstuff a little bit, it's going to look a little wonky. So you want to be careful and not to overstuff it too much. I know what I said earlier, that if, you know, we can always manipulate it. But sometimes if we overstuff, it's going to just stay looking a little weird. If we overstuff the legs and the arms, I should say. Okay. I'm just going to add a tad more in the bottom here. My cat is wanting... Okay. I got a little bit in there. All right. And for the last round of our arm, we are going to work decreases all the way around. So we're going to decrease over the first 2. 1 and 2. Mark that so we don't lose our first. Decrease over the next 2. Decrease over the next 2. Decrease over the next 2. And then we're going to decrease over our last 2. And now we're going to slip stitch to our first. Chain 1, pull up a long loop so we can weave that in. Cut. Pull that down. All right, now we're going to put our tail on our needle. Nope, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, and now we're going to go in and out of the top of these decreases. So we're going to go in, out the next, in the next, out the next, in one more time, and then I'm just going to do a little knot. Well, do it on the side here. Uh-oh, it's on his leg. Go through there, pull it tight, do that one more time in the same area. There's our knot. I'm going to go straight in the middle, come out underneath without going through any stitches, just straight through the holes. Pull that down a little. I'm going to pull tight and snip, and it goes back in, and there is our arm. All right, now we're going to clean up that little hole underneath. So we're going to get the tail from where we started our arm, get that on there, and I'm going to bring it right straight through, and I'm going to come out at that big hole underneath. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to come out on one side. doesn't matter which side. And now I'm going to go straight over it, through a hole on the opposite side, and I'm going to come right back out where I was started. Don't go through your yarn. And now I'm going to pull that tight. I'll do that one more time. It closes up that hole. Now I'm going to do the knot. So we knot it down. Pull through, leave that little loop there, run our needle through that loop, pull tight, and do it one more time. Leave that little loop, put my needle through there, pull it tight. Now I'm just going to run my needle through my doll. Remember to go through a hole, not a stitch. I'm just going to pull it through. Pull tight, snip, and it pops back inside. And there is our first arm. Ta-da! So now, before we start our second arm, I am going to go ahead and stuff our doll pretty good. Mainly, I'm stuffing the chest area and the sides. So I want to get, I'm trying to go straight across, and I want to get right here. I feel like I should have done that earlier before I did the arm, but that's all right. It's looking good. If you need any more on the neck, now's the time to do it. Okay, I like that. That's looking good. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the first arm. I messed up right there. See how it's got a lump in its leg? That's driving me nuts. Wonder. What that is the Poly Fil right there is kind of balled up, and it's not underneath, and that's why it gives that little, but that's okay, because nobody's going to see it because they're going to have clothes on. Okay, so you guys go ahead and get your arm started, get going on your arm, and then come back here whenever, let's see, come back here at the end of round 12, right before we close it up, and we're going to make sure it's all stuffed nice and neat and pretty, okay? So go ahead and attach and work all the way to round 12, and then come back at the end of round 12, okay? Okay guys, so I'm back, and we have just finished round 12 of our second arm. And I wanted to come back on here to make sure everybody's got theirs nice and stuffed, because this is the end. This is where we're going to close it all up, and there's no adding more after this. So I'm just going to go ahead and get down in their arm. Okay, get that tail out of the way. I like the way that's feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and work 13, which is the decrease all around. So decrease over the first and the second. Go ahead and still mark it. Okay, the next one and the next one. And keep going. To this one and Last one. Here and here. Pull through all three. Slip stitch to our first. Chain one, pull up a big loop so we can weave that in. Cut. Pull that through, pull tight. Last chance. Any more little stuffing you want to add? I'm going to add just a tiny bit. Just into the tip here. Get in there. All right, now I'm going to get this tail on a needle. That in there. And now I'm just going to go in, out, in, out. Got one more in. Pull that tight. And now I'm just going to make a little knot. Oop, I'm sorry. Go through that loop. Pull tight. Do it one more time. So we're double knotting it. Go through that loop. Pull tight. And now I'm just going to go straight through the middle. Bring this needle out through the hole, not through the stitches. Pull it tight a little bit. I got a little poly fill sticking out, but that's all right. Okay, I'm going to pull it tight. Snip, and it pops right back inside. Oh my gosh, look at it. One last thing, that's to close up that hole underneath the armpit. Okay, got that on my needle. I'm just going to go straight in there. Come out on one side, doesn't matter which side. All right, now I'm going to go over and go right through. Do that one more time. Pull it tight, close it up, and I'm just going to do a little knot to secure it down. One, and one more time. That loop open, go right through there, and pull tight. And now I'm going to take this, I'm going to go to the back this time. Come out a stitch, between stitches I mean, in the hole. All right, pull tight, snip, pops back inside, and there we go. Look at him, it's adorable. There is our crochet doll. Now the next tutorial we're going to be working on adding hair, and we'll see from there, because I'm going to do a male hair and I'm going to do a female hair. But I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys had a blast making your little amigurumi doll or crochet doll, however you want to call it. And look forward to the next parts. Where's my other one? They're adorable. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And check out my description box. I've got all kinds of cool stuff down there for you guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.